Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Club at 22, your Rangers podcast. We are live on YouTube this evening. We're here to review, believe it or not, a 1-0 win for Rangers in Europe. Talk all things positive, and we will review the Motherwell game as well. As always, can I ask everyone to please like, share, and subscribe to the pod. As the guys have mentioned, we are getting closer and closer to 5,000 subscribers, which is unbelievable. And I know that every one of you, if you pass it on to a friend or tell your mates about it, get them to subscribe as well. I'm sure we can get to 5,000 possibly before the end of the year. I'm sure by the end of the year, in fact. Before I introduce my guests, I'd ask everyone to get involved in the comments, ask any questions. The guys will try and put them up. And if we can, we will answer questions when we come to them. So without further ado, I'm looking for a bit more smiles for the guys. I'm sure they'll be able to smile for me.
Sorry, I was very rushed
to
get here. I was very rushed to get here. Apologies.
I know you, mate, and you do all the setting up, so you're excused. But Ali looks as if he's just found a dog shit in his carpet. So, firstly, Ali Pearson, how are you tonight, mate?
I'm just in for work as well, so I'm late to the show as well, right? But no, I'm very well this Friday afternoon. Rangers Thursdays are back, as I said on the post-match last night with Carney, and yeah, it was actually nice to come out of Ibrox feeling slightly optimistic.
Slightly optimistic indeed. I'll tell you maybe in a wee bit about the conversation me and my dad had. You'll bust it laughing. I'll tell you about that in a wee while. I just loved waking up this morning and not absolutely hating everything to do with Rangers and being frustrated and trying to find answers in my head. And it was a nice feeling this morning. I could get used to it. And my other guest this evening is, as you'll know, Mr. Scott Carney. How are you, apart from this cold that you've got, mate?
Yeah, it's the joys of having a kid, innit? He picked something up at the childminder, mate, and yeah, today I'm like, I'm not feeling particularly great. But you are right, it's very good to be feeling bad about the way I'm feeling, not feeling bad about being a Rangers supporter and wondering what's happening with my team. Also, first off, before we start, happy birthday to Carney Senior. Many happy returns, old man. Not that he watches this, but still, happy birthday, Dad. And yeah, I'm glad Rangers got a win in Europe to start off your birthday celebrations.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mr. Carney. And if you could just maybe install some sort of YouTube on his telly or his phone and subscribe him to the channel, mate, that's all.
My dad's not even got Wi-Fi in his house, mate. There is no chance of it, like none at all. I think he's maybe watched a couple, because he didn't. Obviously, like my dad's 70 something, right? He's 73 today, but he's not the most technical guy with digital stuff, if that makes sense. Even his phone, sometimes, man, honestly, I'm like, Dad, it's not that difficult. So, but I think he didn't really understand the podcast or what a podcast was and what we were doing and why we're doing it. And then when I started talking to him, I was like, look, looks like we're going to be getting press access to the club and whatever else and doing different bits close to the club. He's pure, how are you managing to do that? And I was like, it's all through, like, I was like, the club are aware who we are, etc. And his mind was like blown. You can see him kind of staring at me, and he's like, right, okay, so it's quite serious. I was like, well, it's not serious. I was like, we're doing all right at it. So I think he tuned in and watched a couple in the pub one night it was quiet. I think he put it on his phone because that's the only place he gets Wi-Fi when he goes to the pub. Oh, honestly, unbelievable. Yeah, anyway, happy birthday, Dad.
Aye, happy birthday indeed. I think my dad thinks that when I did the press pass with you, I think he thinks I was sitting with Archie McPherson doing commentary for like BBC or something like that. It's brilliant. The Oldians are a brilliant generation. He was sitting with my boys tonight, and they were sitting with their Snapchat filters on, and he was showing them pictures, and he was killing himself. But it's technology well over their heads. What a comment that was from Chris just before we start, boys. Kids are biological weapons. beat that comment tonight, because that's my favourite comment.
I don't even see it. Whereabouts is that?
Scroll up a wee bit. Kids are biological weapons.
Oh, sorry. That is they're unbelievable.
Very
I don't
true,
even
Chris,
know. He's all over the place as well. Do you know what I mean? The wee man just now. So, but today I woke up and I was like, oh no, not at all. So I'm hoping it's just a wee one day thing, and I'm feeling a bit better tomorrow. Anyway.
But usually we're trying to fill a podcast because Rangers haven't done well, and now they've done well.
That's true.
Fill a podcast. Listen, we're here to, as I said, get into a bit more detail about the Rangers Betis game last night. and we'll also do a bit on the upcoming Premier League match against Motherwell on Sunday. Everybody loves a 3 o'clock Sunday kickoff. So, firstly, I'll come to you, Ali, before I ask you a question. In terms of how Rangers played last night, mate, I don't really want to focus too much on the first half. We all know what happened in the first half. Rangers weren't at their best. I think we were frustrated, but they weren't doing the things that, well, they were basically doing the opposite as they did in the second half, Ali. But that performance in the second half, for me, it was almost as if we finally saw a reaction after half time, because I've not seen it this season where it looked as if they'd maybe been given some instructions and a bit of a bollocking as well, and they came out with a completely different game plan and a different mentality to the game. They looked as if they wanted it. They were hungry. They were getting close to the opposition. They were running with the ball. We'll go into individuals in a bit, but surely, it's time to praise this Rangers team for how they played last night in the second half.
Yeah, no, like you said, most second halves we watch Rangers and they don't appear out of the dressing room for 10-15 minutes. Like at McDermott Park at the weekend there, they didn't appear. It was all St Johnstone. But no, the last 10 minutes of the first half, Ryan, continued into the second half. I thought they were very good, Rangers. Moving the ball at pace, so Ryan, see, I've criticised Rangers for moving the ball too slowly, but they were moving the ball quick. Guys like Cifuentes, who, let's be honest, I thought was very poor in the first half, along with other people. I thought he came alive in the second half. I just thought he got his head up. He was moving the ball forward. John Lundstrom as well, who kind of gave us his man of the match. Again, he was trying to drive the midfield too. Very good. And the top line as well, Kamar Roof is, I said it last night, he's our best striker, right? Well, you know he's our best striker, but I just think he's intelligent. He holds the ball up well. He brings players in, and he kind of, with Sima and Matondo either side of him, I just thought it worked last night. And we got in amongst Betis' face last night, and they didn't like it, and they got the crowd up. And I thought the crowd went into the players. I thought they buzzed. They took the energy of the crowd into them, and yeah, Rangers deserved to win that game last night. I don't think there's that one person who come back and say Rangers didn't deserve to win that, because they did. But I want to see that going forward, right? I don't want this as a one-off performance. They need to use this and kick on. I know we say that all the time after a decent performance. They need to use this and kick on, but they really do. And they've got the perfect opportunity now between now and the international break. 3 home games and away at St Mirren. For me, maximum points and through the semi-final League Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's no question about that. They need to, as you say, use this as a platform. They took the game to Betis. For me, that's possibly how they should have started the game. And just because a lot of these teams, if you start the game like at Ibrox and the crowd get behind you, they don't like it. And you could see Ibrox was built, the atmosphere was building and building. Because for me, boys, I'll call out just now, the atmosphere was so flat last night until we started playing a bit. It was the Union Bears were singing, and that was it. Because I think I think that we spoke about it in previous pods. There is a lull with the support just now. We all know why. So we needed something, and you could feel it building. You could see the game was there for Rangers to take, and Lundstrom's reacting to the crowd. Borna Barisic is giving it plenty to the main stand, and it was getting the crowd up for it. And the more that happened, I felt the more Betis went into their shell. So I totally agree with you. Carney, Rangers, for me, the big thing, the big change in mentality was how direct we started playing. It wasn't side-to-side football. It wasn't make sure everybody touches the ball in the midfield before we get it forward. It was aggressive as well, like John Lundstrom. And you know, boys, I text the chat every game, and I text the number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah, number 4.
John Lundstrom.
I know, but it is like I got to the stage where I was, and I'll admit it, I got to the stage where I was fed up seeing John Lundstrom, because I've used the term, it was like watching a dying dog at times, that I loved John Lundstrom, but he was out doing all the good that he had done in a Rangers shirt. But last night, I saw him take the ball in the turn twice and literally sprint by their midfield and through them and play balls up the line. Now, I understand it's harder when you're playing against 2 banks of 5 or whatever on a Saturday or Sunday, but that performance and how aggressive he was on and off the ball, give me more of that. I know we're going to get into individuals, but as a team, we were aggressive.
We were, mate. Yeah, we all of a sudden looked like a team that wanted to be competitive in the game and not just taking part. There's many things that we'll probably take from last night. One of them for me is, I'm not going to sit here and say Rangers were perfect, and I'm not sitting here saying that Rangers have played the best football that I expect to see them playing this season. But what I seen last night was a team that looked like they wanted to do it. They wanted to do it. They had belief in themselves. They decided to give us something, just anything for the crowd to get onto. And I agree with you, mate. For a European night, that first half, I don't think I've heard a European night like that really at Ibrox. It was extremely flat. It really was, because the first half in particular, we kind of reclused again, and we weren't brave, and we were sloppy with passes, sloppy in possession. We were running down cul-de-sacs more often than not. Nothing was coming off for us, and I was like, we are, as I said last night on the post-match, I'd said to my dad, I was like, we are doing nothing. We're doing absolutely nothing in that first half. The second half, I can't criticise the team at all. We came out and we showed a bit of desire and passion, and the crowd will come with you when you do that. We all know that the football's probably going to get better the longer Beale's here. The football's probably going to get better. There's going to be adaptations to whatever he's doing, and I expect to see progress. So just to give us something to go, right, that the players look up for it. The players look like they wanted to do it, and the crowd will they'll back you all the way. They really will back you all the way, even if it isn't the most brilliant of football, and it wasn't the most intelligent of goals or superb goals or classic goals even in Europe that you're tend to seeing. But we scored it, and the crowd were part of it, because I believe that they were buying into what they were seeing. It's been too long for us to have left Ibrox not feeling pretty chipper about things, and the fact that just the way that they applied themselves, decided to press hard, really make things uncomfortable for Betis, is everything that I want to see from a Rangers team. You might not be playing the best of football, and it is going to take time for that to come, but they didn't half buy themselves a bit of time. And if they can't take confidence from a win like that after a performance like that in the second half, then they won't do it at all. So no, I'm absolutely delighted with the way that we responded in the second half and the way that we went about our business. Davey 1642, thank you so much for the donation, mate. That is very, very much appreciated. And I think that was you earlier on as well. You've been a member for 7 months, mate. So caps after you, mate. That's fantastic.
Amazing, Davey. Thank you so much. And Davey, I totally agree. Hopefully this is the start of us turning a corner, because Rangers need to, and it had to take some sort of performance or some sort of levels to up for us to hopefully turn a corner. Let's hope this is us doing that. Ali, I want to give Michael Beale credit, because he's been getting in the neck from everyone. Some of the criticism, deservedly so. I've also criticised him a bit in the podcast. I think he set his team up very well last night. I think sometimes the players weren't given the likes of Matondo in the first half the service that he should have been getting. There's no point in playing, for me, a high ball to Matondo down the wing. I don't think he's a kind of physical player who'll jump up and give a defender hassle. But I think with Kemar Roof through the middle and 2 quick wingers at either side of him, I could definitely see for the first time what Michael Beale was trying to do. So I do want to give him credit for that. Without a doubt. But the second half, do you think the change in how we played, do you think that is down to Michael Beale? Is he giving them instruction in terms of go for the game now? Or do you think it was more down to the players' attitude? Or both?
A bit of both, I think, to be honest. I mean, when the team came out, Ryan, me and Carney were in the pub, and we weren't shocked, but we were looking at it going, for what we had to pick from, Ryan, because we're missing quite a few players now, important players. I thought it was very attacking. It was bold, and I thought, yeah, that's what I want. I want Rangers to take the game to teams like this at Ibrox. It doesn't matter who we play against. I want them to take it. And I was happy with the team. Yeah, they didn't. The first 35 minutes wasn't great, but I think it's a bit of both. Beale's probably spoke to him, and I don't think he said set off them for 35 minutes or try and contain them and then try and go in. I don't believe that. The players, for me, need a bit of belief in them, because they've got the fans on their back for the past God knows how many weeks now. That will seep into them. But it's a bit of both for me. I think you would have got them in at half time, Ryan, and said to them, look, you showed in that last 10 minutes what you're about. Show it in the second half. And they did for me. They showed it. I thought Beale's substitutions as well, Ryan, was bang on as well. He could have easily, when what you call when Lawrence went down, he could easily turn for Ryan Jack and put him in. Just went for the old guard, if you want to say. But he didn't. He stuck with it. He put Sam Lammers in, who's been very poor this season, and he kept attacking because he thought this is the way he was going to get joy. And he was proved correct. So we've slaughtered Michael Beale this year, and rightfully so, because we don't really know what he's doing. But for the first time, you've seen a bit of identity. I don't know whether it's because we had limited players to choose from, Ryan, but I wasn't on the pod we used, obviously, on Tuesday, but that front three was the front three I wanted. I don't like when we don't have pace in the team. And seeing we've got pace and you've got Kamara Roof that can bring players in, I think it makes such a difference to this Rangers team. Yeah, against stuffy teams, we might have to look to change differently, but yeah, I thought he got it bang on last night, Ryan, and even bringing Sterling on, Ryan Jack, just to shore it up when we were 1-0 up. I thought he played it perfectly. So you need to give him credit when he does it correctly. So yes, hats off to Michael Beale last night.
Yeah, absolutely, and I totally agree with you. I'm not going to turn around and be a hypocrite and say, "Oh, Beale must stay. He's going to lead us to a treble." Blah blah blah. I'm not saying anything like that, but I think the time.
Just wait till we drop on Sunday.
That's a yellow card, Mr. Pearson.
Yes.
Anyway, any more of that chat, and you're out. I just think for the time for. We've seen it social media. I've called for it on the pod after the Celtic game. The time for calling for Beale's head or whatever, it's gone at the moment. We need to focus on getting behind this team because whatever happens will happen. It will not be anyone in this pod or anyone in this chat who will decide the fate of any Rangers manager. The noise for me now needs to stop. We have got a big result in Europe. We have given ourselves a platform to work off of. And I think we just need to get behind any Rangers manager. That's the way I always look at it, whether you like him or not. And for me, that's where I'll be with it. But yeah, he gets credit from me for his tactics last night. Carney, Ali's right. I just think he set his team up right. Deserves the credit, as I said. But the second half for me, I think he's changed it. I think he said to them, it's almost as if the first half. I don't think he said sit off them, but I think he said, hang fire to suss them out, to see what they're going to be like in the ball. And I think you said on the post match last night, they didn't offer too much. Betis, I wasn't like terrified when we were on the ball. Again, probably more terrified of what we'll do ourselves. But apart from Isco and their wingers were quite quick, I wasn't terrified every time they were attacking us. They were quick, but they weren't quite at the level of PSV. Let's put it that way. So for me, Beale has told him maybe just to kind of suss him out in the first half, but then he's obviously seen an opportunity which we all felt the game is therefore taken, and he's instructed them to go out and take it, and they've done it.
Yeah, in the first half, I think you have to give credit to the defence as well, because we did manage to contain them. And I know it's not easy to watch because it really isn't. It was a hard watch for probably about 25 minutes or so in that first half. You were just like, but when you're reflecting on it and you're looking back on it in hindsight, we weren't really troubled at all. And then, as I said, we had that moment where we sparked into life. And I think it's very interesting what Beale said to. What he said in the post-match press conference, what he said, he asked the players themselves, he said to them, what do you think needs to improve? What do you think needs to happen here? Do you think this is good enough? Along those kind of lines. And it looks like the players have responded. And in a good way, I almost think that Beale has went, well, I've called the players out at half-time tonight to see if they're with me or if they're not with me. That's kind of what I know I probably read too much into things, but that's kind of the way I took that. I thought you're either with me or you're not. I'm telling you what to do. And there was a few points during the first half. I can see Michael Beale from where I sat. I see at the back of him, and he was very animated when we were making a mess of stuff. See, when the pass was on him, the perfect one was, I think it was Goldson just turned back at one point to play it back to Davis, and Beale was screaming at him, like literally screaming at him to say that the forward pass was on. I think he's asking the players to be more brave, and I think that's what we've seen in the second half. I generally do. You have to remember, this is a team without arguably our three biggest players. Raskin, Cantwell and Danilo weren't in the squad. They're all injured. Do you know what I mean? And we've still managed to go out there and get a result. The team the team deserve credit for last night. They managed to get themselves to win in that second half. And yeah, I'm I'm more than happy for it. Is everything perfect? No, it isn't perfect, and we're very much still a work in progress. But it's time to enjoy something. It's time to give us all a wee bit of shot in the arm of going, right, okay, we actually did see something. Because if I'm going to be completely honest, I thought we'd get a draw at best against Betis. I thought if they click, then we'll probably struggle. In saying that, though, even when I checked their form beforehand, even when they're winning games, they're not scoring a lot of goals. So the fact that they didn't score is probably not a huge surprise. And they do have some quality players. Like, don't get me wrong, they are a good team, and they were probably considered favourites to get out of the. They probably still are favourites even after our defeat to get out the group top. But it's a fantastic start. It really is a fantastic start, and I couldn't be more happier with the response that I've seen from the players in the second half. And I say I'm not basing it on the football that we played. I'm basing it just more on the heart. They wanted to show us something last night, and that's all we can ask for as fans. It'll come. It will come. I'm beginning to believe it will come because, as you said, mate, what choice do we have? I'm not going to sit miserable and constantly shout for Beale to get out. Do I think there's flaws there? Yeah, of course I do. But I think they could probably improve this team by a significant amount. Yeah, I also believe that could happen as well. But it's the players as well. The players, I think Beale's obviously his easy target right now. There's a lot of the players that really need to pull their socks up and respond, and in the second half we got it.
Yeah, I totally agree, and it'll lead us on to individual performances because I do want to stay on it and then kind of shout out some players. But I think it was Paul McGarrigle. It's quite a bit up, guys, so you don't need to put it up in the chat. But he asked about if anyone had seen why VAR hadn't called the Rabbi Matondo shirt pull situation. I'll be honest, I didn't see it at the game. I've not watched the game back. So, Carly, you'll maybe shed some light on it. Was there some sort of penalty shout or?
I don't know if it's a penalty. Look, he's got a hold of his shirt. The only thing that's frustrating about it, he just previously gave a free kick to Betis for the same thing. And then Matondo breaks into the box and it's a blatant shot pull. You can see it from where I was sitting. Is that enough for a penalty? I don't know because I don't understand the rules of what a penalty and what a free kick is. Apparently they're not the same thing in football, but you know what I mean by that. I think a lot would have considered it soft, but I mean, it's a valid shout. It is a valid shout, but usually the way we are as Rangers fans, rightly or wrongly, when we win games we don't tend to call this stuff out as much. Like the offside decision that we had the weekend there, we didn't really call that out. It's not being posted about anywhere, discussed anywhere really on any media platforms or anything like that, because we all know the narrative there. But yeah, maybe a shout, possibly a shout, but I'm not going to dwell on it too much because we won.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not quite at the stage of crowdfunding at anyone but Rangers movie. But listen,
yeah, no.
Hold that thought for another time. Boys, I want to speak about individual performances because for me, when you get a big result, I think it's Ali usually says it on the pod, when you need a big result, you need a good few 9 out of 10 performances, and I think there was a few last night. I think probably at least 5 players played very well last night and took it up a level. And when I say took up a level, they took it to a level that Rangers have been crying out for, because I would give everybody probably flat 6s all season up until the second half last night. But I'll start with, we've kind of spoken to John Lundstrom. You can elaborate on that a wee bit if you wish, but I'll go on to Ben Davies, guys, because it's a player who I've certainly said doesn't have a future at the club. I've said he can be a bit powder puff at times. Ben Davies, since he's come back into the team, has nailed down that position. I think Ali said it on the pod view last night, Carney, that it's his shirt to lose now. Suter is not the first choice centre back until Ben Davies changes. But I'll come to Ali first, since you've just said your word there, Carney. Ben Davies for me was outstanding last night. His aerial battles, his timing, his positioning of where he was when they were on the attack is what I want to see in a centre half. I thought he was outstanding last night.
Yeah, I gave him my man of the match last night, Ryan, because I thought he was outstanding. I've been critical of Ben Davies before as well. I used the word soft at times for a centre half, but last 2 games there, he was up against, was it Chris Kane or something for St Johnson, who's one of these hammer throwers, dealt with him easy. The guy last night for Betis was a big guy up front, Ryan, and he dealt with him. He was strong, powerful. I thought he was brilliant. I really did. I just think it gives a good balance beside Gold, because he's left-footed. It's a better balance there. And him and Goldson, well, I don't know the record off the top of my head, but apparently it's an extremely good record they have, the two of them as centre halves. So for me, I like John Suter. I like John Souttar. I like the way he comes out with the ball and stuff. He has made a couple of individual mistakes. So for me, that's why I said to Carney before this St Johnstone game, I did think he might change him because of this. Because if you flip it, and that was Ben Davies that done the mistakes that John Souttar's done, and I'm not bashing John Souttar because I like John Souttar, folk would be calling for Davies to go out of team and everything. So for a guy that was a bit of an outcast that we wanted to move on in the summer, and we did want to move him on, he said to Michael Beale, no, I want to stay, I want to fight from place, which you want to see as a player at Rangers. I thought he was brilliant, Ryan. I'm not going to go overboard. It's 2 games he's played, but in the 2 games he's played for Rangers, he's been outstanding for me. And that's what I said last night, Ryan. For me, he deserves a shirt going forward. I wouldn't change the centre-half pairing a lot. We did it one season and I didn't like it. I'd like to stick with a settle back 2 as your centre-halves. And for me, Ben Davies is there beside Connor Goldson.
I agree. I just think we are crying out for a defensive performance like that. I think Goldson's been shaky at times this season with his distribution, and you guys know how much I like Connor Goldson, but obviously Souttar's had a few mistakes. I think we've been crying out for one of the defenders to have a performance like that, and it's came out of nowhere for me with Ben Davies. He just looks as if he's stepped up, and he looks fit, and he looks brave. He was brilliant last night. I thought, Carney, what was your thoughts on, if you just got into a bit more detail than you did last night, what was your thoughts on Ben Davies' performance? Were you expecting this? Did you kind of write off Ben Davies the same as I did in terms of he had no future at the club?
Very much so, mate, yeah. I was probably one of the last ones to make the kind of final decision on Davies. I was trying to see something in it because we have been screaming for a left-sided defender and he seemed to fit the bill. But last night, he was superb. He was absolutely brilliant. He was solid as a rock. And I hope the bit of time that he had out of the team and the wee uncertainty maybe surrounding him over the summer has given him a wee bit of shot in the arm. He's decided that he wants to stay here. He's openly said, and it's been openly put out onto social media and whatever else, that he said that he had no interest in leaving Rangers in the summer. So he's a Rangers player going forward, so we do have to make the most of him. But again, that's probably doing him an injustice, because I can't disagree with anything you have said. He was tremendous last night. He really was, putting his body on the line. And I think the balance of Goldson and Davies, if Davies is playing at a decent level, it's kind of what we're looking for. It's kind of what we want. And I think, as Ali said, with the partnership that he has with Goldson, I think it relaxes Goldson a lot more when he realises that he doesn't really need to cover for his other centre half. He's got enough without Tav bashing, and people think, he's got enough to worry about with Tav going forward, that he needs to cover the right-hand side. But I thought Davies even covered Barisic a couple of times. Barisic was caught out of position a few times, left his man once or twice in the first half especially. And I thought Davies was very good at going over and covering for him. He marshalled the defence, he really was. He was superb. So no, like, again, I even said it in the pod last night, I always want, when I think players aren't good enough to be playing for us, or I think that their time's over here, I want them to be proved me wrong, because if they prove me wrong, they're going to be playing brilliant, which is only going to benefit the team. So I don't mind being wrong about stuff like that. We're all allowed opinions, and we're all allowed to say things about players. But no, I thought Davies was excellent. I really do. I thought he was absolutely superb. And more of the same of that going forward, because he's exactly what we need. And if it relaxes Goldson and Goldson ups his game, because I agree he's not been brilliant this season, but if he does that, if Davies comes up to Goldson's level, if you like, Goldson's usual level, then we've got a sorted centre-half pairing. I do feel slightly sorry for Souttar, but he's not a left-sided defender. There's no point in us trying to put a square peg in a round hole when you've already got a round peg for the round hole. So, and I think that's going to be Davies going forward. I hope that's the start of a resurgence for him at Rangers.
Yeah, I don't think any of us, you'll both agree, none of us are writing off John Souttar. I just think it's healthy competition that Ben Davies has upped his performance and put in a few shifts like that, because it puts competition in for the centre halves in terms of Goldson. I know he has to up his game. I know everybody thinks Goldson's undroppable. In my eyes, nobody's undroppable. If you have howler after howler, you will get dropped. But I think that Ben Davies' level that he played last night has shown that's the level you need to play for Rangers. And John Souttar will know that. I like John Souttar. I think he's played well for Rangers. Had a couple of mistakes. Listen, if he's going to have that centre-half for Rangers. But yeah, I think the pairing, Ali makes a good point. I think you have to have a consistent pairing to be successful and have a trophy-winning team. I think you've got to have, if you look at us a couple of years ago, was it Hollander and Goldson? That was the centre-half pairing that we won the title with. I think it's really important that you have a consistent centre-half. It's important for the goalkeeper as well. A goalkeeper's got to have that relationship where he knows and trusts his centre-halves, and he knows the pairing and what they're going to do in front of him. So, yeah, I think it's really important, and great call-out about Davies. See the cover he had for Barisic, and this isn't a criticism on Borna Barisic either, because you said the same about Tav. When they bomb forward, those centre-halves, all the midfielder inside them needs to know that somebody's covering them when they're up that park, and I thought Ben Davies done it really well last night. So, yes, kudos and praise to him. Now, Ben Davies showed a lot of balls, boys, a lot of balls. Where can I be going with this? It is a time for a word from our sponsors. September is here, and I want to take a minute to talk about self-care. When it comes to making an impression, proper grooming is essential to looking and feeling your best. That's why the sponsors of our podcast, Manscaped, are committed to helping men around the world walk and talk with some swagger this season with the best grooming tools on the market. Join the 9 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and enjoy this offer. It's 20% off and free shipping with the code CLUB@22 at manscaped.com. Don't neglect yourself and get right this season with Manscaped. For the sleekest version of yourself, Manscaped has you covered from head to toe, starting with a brand new beard hedge trimmer. With 1 guard and 20 adjustable lengths, this device is the perfect travel companion, fit to take care of your mane wherever you are. Next in line, who can forget about the Signature Performance Package 4.0? The Lawnmower 4.0 Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Spray are all included in the Performance Package 4.0. Want something you don't mind showing that special someone in your life? Look no further than Manscaped Boxers 2.0. These are without a doubt the best boxers for men of all ages. I can confidently say I'll never go back to cotton boxers after wearing these. So if anyone's watching and thinking that you're going to buy me boxers for Christmas, don't bother. I'm covered with these Manscaped boxers. Once again, Manscaped supports Club@22, the Rangers podcast, so much that they provide an exclusive offer for all listeners. Once again, it's get 20% off and free shipping with Club@22 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the club code Club@22. Feel like yourself again. Take charge of your life with Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.
They will indeed. They will indeed. Well done, mate. That's probably one of your best
you.
showings at that, I think. And I don't know why the cotton boxers caught you though.
The cotton boxers is I don't know. I'll have a wee read at it again. I'll maybe read that before I go to sleep tonight and then see if I can work on that bit. But it's a bit of a tongue twister there. And the 4.0s always kind of throw me as well, because I was just going to talk about a 0.0 person as well. I want to stay on individual performances, boys, before we move on to Motherwell. I could pick up, like I said, there's 4 or 5 players that I thought really upped their game, but I think someone has nailed down their position in the team as well. And for me, it is Rabbi Matondo 2.0. I think, boys, this is a personal view of mine. I've not discussed this week, so this will be interesting to hear what you've got to say. For me, he offers an option that I've not seen Rangers have in a long time. Yes, his decision-making sometimes is not where we want it to be, but I see a confident winger, which I've not seen in a long time at Rangers, a winger who is wanting to take people on, and his pace down that wing is electric. That the full govern front, I think it was the second half, was it Ben Davies or was it a Lundstrom? Somebody played the ball down to him, down the wing, and the pace that boy showed is frightening. If he can get service down that wing, Ali, for me, he could be a player for the full season if you give him a run in the team. Again, I'll caveat it with his decision making isn't great at times, but it looks like left wing is his. If maybe Kent has probably kept him out of the team last year, whether they deserve to or not, he always played on the right last season. For me, Rabbi Matondo is the left winger going forward at the moment.
Yeah, he's the best young Welshman I know, Ryan. It's come out of nowhere, Matondo, this season. If somebody tell you at the beginning of the season, Rabbi Matondo would be starting for Rangers, you would you would have believed it. It's he's literally come out of nowhere. But fair play to the boy, because he was written off. He was a bit of a joke figure last season on our podcast as well. I mean, most folk are having a joke with Matondo, but he's came back this season, Ryan, and he's confident, which I like about him. There was one move in the second half, Ryan, which me and Carney talked about in the post-match last night, where he drove with a ball. He just took the ball and went, I'm going with this. And he drove up the park. Yeah, he maybe should have put in Kamaru and he had the shot, but I like that. You need players to grab the game at times, and I think he can do that. I think his pace terrifies teams at times because they don't know what to do. I think Betis at times didn't know what to do with him. Was it Bellerin at right back? Because he's pretty quick. Could he keep up with him? He's rapid. He will be frustrating, right? All wingers are frustrating. Doesn't matter if you're Rabbi Matondo or whoever you are. All wingers are naturally frustrating. But for me, you persist with Matondo. I like pace in the team, Ryan. I didn't like the way we set up at the beginning of the season with no pace in the team. I don't like that way. I like to have two traditional type wingers, if you want to say. He's like that for me, Matondo. Light and quick. His finish against St Johnstone was brilliant. Yes, he should have scored last night, but these things happen, unfortunately. But for me, Matondo, give him a run in the team. There you go. He plays for me on Sunday, but he plays going forward for me. Rabbi Matondo 2.0. Who would have thought it?
Yep, Rabbi Matondo 2.0 indeed. I was just, I love seeing it. I think a winger is the hardest position to nail down at Ibrox. Yeah. I've always said it, because if you take a player on and you don't beat him, the crowd are on your back straight away. And we've seen it with so many wingers over the years. You know, you can go back to, I don't know if you want to say Hooster or whatever, but you've so many players over the years who they go into their shell because they try to take a player on, the crowd go on their back, then they try it again and it doesn't come off, and then that's then their confidence goes down. Probably more recently, I could think of somebody like Barry Mackay. You could see him struggled with his confidence. Rabbi Matondo's confidence is spewing out him just now, and you keep it that way. Like, for me, you keep playing him, and you put an arm around him, and you say to him, see if you don't beat him man this time, beat him the next time. See if you don't beat him that time, you'll beat him the time after that. And you just keep that confidence oozing out him, because I think I elaborated on it the last pod, that run against PSV, where he just went, do you know what, I'm just going for it because nobody else is doing it. And more of that, because you'll get something, and it's taking this risk and reward. Carney, what was your views on Matondo? I know I don't want to go over the top, because I know he's not a world beater in his decision making. There is improvement still to be had, but it's definitely, he's a revitalised figure, is he not?
Yeah, I think he's benefiting from the poor start to the season, if you like, in terms that we are looking for something. We're looking for someone that looks like they're going to be able to pull us forward, and Matondo has done that. I don't think I've seen a kind of U-turn on a player as much as I've seen a U-turn on Matondo. I don't know, I need to sit down and never think about it, but it's been a long time since the support's kind of completely turned back the way in order in favour of him. Matondo, he's not the finished article, but I think that run that Ali mentioned last night that we spoke about, that can't be underestimated, how important it is when we're in a game like that we needed the crowd to be lifted, and it just lifted the crowd again when he'd done that run. And I know as Ali said, he probably should have passed, but he's right to have a crack at goal after doing all that he'd done. Fair play to him, generally fair play to him. Someone's willing to be brave, someone that's willing to think no. And the thing is, Sifa, a guy that's he's not particularly built, but he's quite strong. He can ride tackles quite well. He seems to kind of skip over tackles very well. And what you have said is right, but I don't think opposition players really fancy playing up against him. He's definitely an option, and I think he's an option that we need to utilise, because when it is slow paced and it is the pedestrian tempo that we're having, we need someone like him in order just to go, well, just give me the ball in front of me and let me run onto it, and he will beat anybody to the ball. He really will. He's that fast. He's absolutely lightning quick. So yeah, I'm all for it. I think a sustained run in the team, possibly. Yeah, possibly. I could see that. I still think he's got a bit of a role to play coming off the bench as well. I do think that he's very good when we've been playing against a back 10 for 70 minutes, if you like, then when they eventually decide that they're going to have a go, then it's good to be able to bring someone in on it to run into the space. But I'm all for the redemption arc that he's continuing to be on. Yes, he should have scored last night, but again, he's still a young lad. I think there's still some more to come from Matondo. But no, I'm impressed with what I'm seeing from him so far, and I'm happy that he's making me eat my words anyway, or half my words. He's not quite there yet. See, as soon as he starts scoring every time he gets a chance, not every time he gets a chance, but maybe every 1 in 3 chances that he gets, he's scoring goals. People will fall in love with him. It's just what will happen because he's an exciting player, and when he goes on a run, you move to the front of your seat because you're thinking he fancies it here. So yeah, I'm all for Rabbi 2.0. I really am.
Yeah, same. Like I say, he's a player who's exciting at the moment, and it's something positive to look forward to. So, aye, absolutely. That I've got a lot of time for Matondo at the moment. JD, I was not doing a staying alive. It was a smooth transitional light switch to put a bit of light in this room. I was trying to say to my son to switch on the light, and I'm pointing at him, and he's just looking at me with a gazed look on his face. But thank you, Toby, for putting the big light on for me.
Well done, Toby. Congratulations, mate. Well done,
I was
Toby.
sitting in the dark there. I was starting to hear, all I could see was my teeth in my headphones. So, boys, just before we move on to the Motherwell game, I'm kind of cautious of time. For me, I'll be honest with you. When we did the pod all night there, Carney. Most people all know this. I know that my dad that watches, he knows when I say this. When I say 2-1 Rangers, 9 times out of 10 it means I think Rangers won't get a result. I predicted 2-1 the other night there, and it was because I didn't think. I'll be honest, I didn't think Rangers had it in them with the injuries that we had, with how things were going. I thought if we get a draw, we've done all right here because Betis will be half decent. They're from La Liga. So I didn't see it coming last night, and yeah, staunch points off me, wipe the Magers to 0, whatever you like. But I think Rangers have given themselves an excellent opportunity to do something in this group. And when I say do something, I'm not getting carried away. I think if they want to apply themselves to this group, they've put themselves in a position that they can top it. And you can put me down on record for saying that, and I'll probably end up egging my face. But winning against Betis at home just puts you in such a good position in this group. Especially with a clean sheet. Now, the story I said, if you were listening at the beginning of the podcast, was me and my dad. This is how it's like as a Rangers fan, you'll both be the same. Me and my dad walking to the game, we're both like, are we going in here? Will we just go back down the road, kind of joking like that with each other? On the way back from the game, we were walking to the car. My dad said, where's the final this year? And I said, Dublin. And he went, oh, I could go to that. So that gives you an insight into life as a Rangers fan, and I'm sure everybody else is the exact same. But Ali, what I'm getting at here is, before it, I was probably saying if Rangers finish second, I think that'll be a good place for us. I've changed a bit, and I know it's one half performance. I'm not getting carried away, but I do think there is something about Thursday nights for us. We do seem to buzz off it. We do put our best performances in, and beating the favourites in the group, I think has put us in a really good position. What are your thoughts on the group going forward?
Yeah, definitely. When the group came out, I thought if we could get second, it'd be good. You've always got third as a consolation, if you want to say, going into that conference, but you don't want to be there. You want to get as far as you can. But last night, you've won your first home game. You've got Limassol and Sparta Prague to come to Ibrox as well. You'd like to, I say that now, but you would like to think beating Betis at home, we can beat they two at home. If you can win your home games, Ryan, I think you're pretty much through. And I think we can do that. Coming next, something away from home, we've got Limassol next. Obviously, they get beat 3-2, but you'd like to think we could maybe get a result out there. Then you go to Sparta Prague, and then you've got the back-to-back home games before you finish in Betis. So, yeah, I'd be looking to top this group, Ryan. And it's we should be, to be honest. We've topped the Europa League group before, so why shouldn't we? We've got off to the best start we can ask for. We've beaten the favourites in the group at Ibrox. The last game is Betis as well, which will suit us because you don't know where they'll be at that point. They could have qualified possibly in second place. So you don't know where you're going to be at that point. So, yeah, we've got every chance of winning this group, Brian. But at the very least, yeah, I expect us to qualify for this group now.
Yeah, I agree. I think I expect us to qualify. I might be being slightly optimistic, and I'm sure people get involved in the comments if I'm or what you think. But I just think I didn't hands up again, I didn't see us beating Betis in any of the games, and now that I've seen them, obviously glad we've beaten them, but I'm not fearing going to Betis. I'm not saying we're going to go there and win, but I'm not fearing that game now. I'm thinking if we're going into that last game and needing a point, I wouldn't be terrified of that proposition. But hopefully Rangers do something in between. But yeah, these 2 away games back to back, Carney. I'll be honest, this is, like I say, it's the life of a Rangers fan. It's all doom and gloom 1 minute and then you're optimistic the next. I'd like to think we can get 3 points in one of these games.
I would like to think so, mate, as well. And I'm not saying any game's going to be a walkover. It definitely isn't. We're still going to need to be on it. We're still going to need to play pretty good football in order to get results, because it's difficult places to go. But the last night's start, you have to think positively about it now, because we've played arguably the best opponent in the group, and we've come out with a win. Puts you off to the best possible start. I mean, really, if you're being completely not as optimistic about it, if we get 2 points over the next 2 games, and then we've got 2 back-to-back home games, and we get 2 wins from that, the Betis game isn't going to matter. We'll be through, so it won't make a difference. So no, as I say, I'm optimistic. I think we should be rightly looking to finish top of this group now. I don't really see any reason other than not aiming for that, because we're going to get players back as well. We've got Campbell to come back, we've got Racing to come back. We're going to get stronger, and again, my glass is probably more half full now because of that result, because I believe that the team must take confidence from that. They must take a bit of pride, a bit of heart from it, and decide, like, right, okay, when we actually do something, we're actually not bad. We can make things happen in games, and we can go out and win football games. So I expect us to get better now, and I don't think that's me blue-tinted glasses at all. And again, it's not me ready for putting a Michael Beale memorial up on the side of my house, but it's a positive result, and it's going to be positive for the club and the players overall. So I don't think we're being over optimistic to think that we could finish top of this group. As I say, we've got players to come back. I believe the football's only going to get better. That's what I want to believe, and I think that's what we all have to believe, is it will get better. But if we get the heart, the desire, the belief that it looked like there was in the players in that second half, and we get an improvement in football, then yeah, I fancy us. I really do. I think the bare minimum is to get out of this group. The absolute bare minimum now after that start.
Yeah, absolutely. They've given us a great chance, so let's hope we do kick on. I totally agree. Curry Muncher as well. Curry, of course, that goes without saying. I think we all agree that, listen, the league and domestic titles are a priority, but this, for me, I said at the beginning of the season, I can't remember if I said in the pod or just in the pub to you guys, Europe didn't matter to me. It's so important to get the league and the titles, but this European performance, we were crying out for something, for anything, for this team to show us anything that was an improvement from what we've been seeing. I mean, we've all been criticised for our views on the team during pre-season at the beginning of the season, but we've been crying out for a performance like that. And like I said, I praised a couple of players individually, but there was 4 or 5 players, maybe 6, who really upped at a level last night. And for me, that was the most pleasing thing. And it doesn't matter if it is Europa League, League Cup, Scottish Cup, friendly. That was needed, like a shot in the arm as a supporter and for the team. But it was needed like a shot in the arm, and that's why I'm quite upbeat about it this evening, and that's why I've probably spent the last 50 minutes, circa 50 minutes talking about it. But we will move on, gentlemen. We will move on, because we do have my bread and butter coming up this weekend, which is a Premier League game against Motherwell on Sunday, 3 o'clock kickoff. Absolutely gutted about that one. But yeah, we take Motherwell to Ibrox, and they are currently 3rd in the table at the moment. It is Stuart Kettlewell's team who's the current manager of them. They have got, I was watching Michael Beale's press conference before we go on the pod, and I still don't believe this one. I kind of wish Scotia was here to get his spreadsheets up.
I know what you're coming up with here.
I don't know if this one's accurate, so you can call me out if I'm wrong, and I do apologise. Is somebody threw a red herring at Michael Beale with this one? 9 months they've not lost an away league game.
I think it's correct.
Wow. I'll be honest, I need somebody like, I don't know.
They played Celtic right in the tail end of last season and got a 1 each draw at Parkhead.
Right.
And I don't know when they played us. We played them at home and beat them, but I think it's correct, yeah. Which is bizarre.
Are they counting?
Some run.
Are they counting the summer? Are they counting the summer as playing months? Like I can't get my head around a team
I
outside
think
the
so.
Old
I
Firm.
think so. Yeah.
Aye, well, fair play. Listen, it is a good record no matter what. So I think Rangers have to take that into consideration that they're obviously a decent team. I was looking at their scores before we come on, and they got beat at 1-0 at home to St Mirren, I think. And they had a tidy result against Hearts. They beat them 1-0 the game before, possibly, at Tynecastle. Looks as if they don't score a lot of goals, but they don't concede a lot of goals either, boys. So it could be a tight one on Sunday. But it's all about the 3 points. It's all about what we do. And Michael Beale was very quick to say that we can't just sit about and pat ourselves in the back, because, listen, I've enjoyed patting ourselves in the back this evening. I think we deserve it as fans. But the players can't sit about and just pat ourselves in the back and think work is done, because domestically work is far from done. Carney, I'll stick with you. This Motherwell team, obviously, are playing well. They're third. Like we said, they're not conceded a lot. They've got a good away record if you're taking summer months into consideration, but still a good record anyway. I'm expecting a tough game on Sunday, if I'm honest, again. But we've got to take that. We've got to take that face on, mate.
Yeah, we do. First of all, Billy, thank you very much, mate, for the donation, mate. Very much appreciated. That's very nice of you. Thank you so much. But yeah, no, I expect Rangers to take this head on, mate. I really do. I think Motherwell are a decent team. They've started the season well, but it's not a team that, with all due respect, that we should really be concerning ourselves with. They're coming to Ibrox. We're coming off a big win. I expect Rangers to be fully up for it. I think I'm going to give more credit to Michael Beale, and people probably won't like that. See the way they handled the post-match last night in terms of saying that he wasn't going to get carried away and it's all about Sunday. Now, it would have been so easy for the pressure that Michael Beale's been under to sit there like a cat that's got the cream, absolutely delighted with himself, the fact that we managed to get a win last night, and he didn't. He kept it very level-headed, and I thought, after I watched it back last night when I got home, after the game and I watched it, I thought that was very well handled. You did that very well there, and he's 100% correct. Of course he is. I was buzzing last night, and it was absolutely, probably even more so when I got in and started watching different reactions as well from different people, and watched the highlights back of the game, and I was going, God, it was brilliant, really, really good. And it's about time that I start to feel a bit of positivity around my football club this season. But I full credit to Michael Beale for the way he handled that. I thought that was very, very well done. It really was. Because he is correct. Thursday will almost stand for nothing if we go into Sunday and we put in a drab performance and dare I say drop points, but I don't see that. I think the players have a real shot of confidence in their arm. I think they've a shot of enthusiasm in their arm, and they've injected a bit of belief and life into the team. So yeah, because say Motherwell have started well, but I don't really think it's about them. I think if Rangers show up, we play the football that we show the same application, desire, all the words that you say, mate, on Sunday, the way we did in the second half in Betis, then I think we walk away with 3 points.
Yeah, Ali, would you agree with Carney that it is, if the players show what it showed in the second half, it goes without saying that you can't see anything but a positive result for Rangers on Sunday?
Yeah, Rangers are at home. Good result last night. Obviously, they should use that as a platform to move on. Rangers are a better team than Motherwell. No disrespect to Motherwell, but we've got better players than Motherwell. We should be beating Motherwell at Ibrox convincingly. I'm confident going to Ibrox on Sunday. I think the players should have a spring in their step going on that pitch on Sunday. If they don't, they've got something. They're the wrong football club for me. So they've done it on Thursday for us, but now let's kick on. It's all right doing it on Thursday and then Motherwell, you don't get a result, get back to square one, and Michael Beale will be in serious trouble. But let's kick on. Let's motor. We've got, like I say, we've got 4 games before another bloody international break. But let's go and win these games. They're all there. There's 3 home games. There's a tricky one at the end away at St Mirren, Ryan, but they're all winnable for Rangers. And then you hopefully will get these players back, your Raskins, your Cantwells, and we can kick on again for the next block. But yeah, I'm confident going in Sunday.
Yeah, it's an interesting point Rangers on tour makes that Carney's just put up there. Do you think Cantwell and Raskin being out, the rest of the squad have needed to step up because last season they were shining lights? For me, I'll just personally answer that one. Possibly, but Raskin and Cantwell haven't set the hair alight for me so far this season. So I think it's a great opportunity for players to nail down a position. Carney, what's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I agree, mate. I know we didn't spend too much time on Big Bad John for last night, but I think it was in the first half. I said to my dad, I was like, Lundstrom's trying his hardest here. He was barking orders, and he was really trying to command the middle of the pitch. And in the second half, he was brilliant. In the second half, he really was. And I said to my dad halfway through the half, I thought Lundstrom's running this here. So he's literally running this show. He's getting the ball. He's being brave on the ball. He's moving himself forward. And I think whatever the talk was at half time did him the world of good. And he thought, no, this is time for me to put a bit of a marker down. And I think he did. I don't think Raskin and Cantwell have been great. I don't think it's been helped with Cantwell getting played out of position, and I hope that is resolved by him getting to play a wee bit further forward, especially if it looks like it's a kind of 4-2-3-1. I think he's very suited to be playing the kind of number 10 role. I think that's his best role, and I think he's the best at it at the club. So I believe that Cantwell will get played further forward. That's what my hopes are anyway. But yeah, I mean, the rest of the players do need, of course, they need to pull their socks up and they need to get on with it, but there's opportunities here. I think every shirt almost is up for grabs, maybe apart from, well, Butland definitely isn't, but Tav, Goldson and looks like Davis going to nail that down. Everywhere else, really across the team, you could say that everybody has got a chance to nail down a position here. So it's interesting going forward, mate. It really is. It's interesting to see what players are going to come to the front now. But yeah, I can see the logic to thinking like the kind of fringe players, if you like, or the ones that weren't kind of getting put in first have got a chance here. But I do believe everybody in the team's got a chance to nail down a position.
Yeah, Ali, just briefly, what's your thoughts on that one? We can't and Raskin out. I guess this is clearly given a opportunity for players to nail their case down for a position in this team.
Yeah, I used example Tom Lawrence. I don't think Tom Lawrence would have played as much. I thought he would have been drip fed in, but he's the one guy that we don't really have a creative player box to box. He's that player that can play instead of Cantwell. So he's played more football than he probably was going to get. So that'll benefit him. And again, it gives him a chance. Gives players, John Lundstrom, again, he stood up for me. And you need players to stand up in the middle of the park for Rangers. So yeah, perfect opportunity for these players.
Perfect opportunity indeed. And Ali, we'll get the teams and the scores done now. If you can tell me, Ali, on Sunday, who's playing with Ben Davies and Rabbi Matondo, and what's the score and first goal scorer?
Yeah, Jack Butland in goal. Back four of Tav, Goldson, Davies. Left back, I was humming it on here. Barisic. I might play Yilmaz. I don't know. I'm going with Barisic. Lundstrom, Cifuentes, Lammers. I don't think Tom Lawrence will play. I think he could do with just a wee rest, but maybe come on. And the top line for me, Rabbi Matondo. Carney, I like this one. Seema on the right. And through the middle, I think Dessers will come in. Again, I think I'd play Kamaru, but I've got this fear in the back of my head that he's going to break down somewhere because he's playing all these games. So I'm pulling him out. He's on the bench for me. I would play Kamaru, but I've just got the fear that 3 games he'll break down. So Dessers for me, and I'm going to go 3-0 Rangers. Rabbi Matondo, first goal scorer.
Nice,
interesting. I think he's got to use squad rotation. We've got 6 games in 20 days, something stupid like that. I think he has got to rotate, even though I think it's important to be consistent. But I think he has to rotate. So, Carney, what's your team scoreline and first goal scorer, please?
I think my team's pretty similar to Ali's. I think Yilmaz will come back in for Barisic. Just because of the whole he's not in the European squad thing. So I think Yilmaz will come in for Barisic. It's not that Barisic wasn't fantastic in last night, but I think Yilmaz will come back in. Midfield, yeah, same. Exactly the same. Matondo, I do think Seema will start as well, but I think Kamaru will start. I think if Kamaru's only got 60 minutes in him just now, then he'll get 60 minutes. I believe that he'll start because he was another performer last night that I thought he was great. Kamaru, I really did. I thought he was just strong, intelligent, everything that you want from a forward player. He's a very smart player, so I'll go with Roof to start, and I'll go 2-0 Rangers, but a good 2-0 if you like, and Kamaru to score first.
Interesting. I am going same back 5 as you, Carney. I think Yilmaz will come in. I think he's going to play I think he's going to play Ryan Jack on Sunday. Whether that's for John Lundstrom or not, I'm not sure. I don't know whether he's kind of emptied the tank a bit or not. But I'll go John Lundstrom. I'll go Ryan Jack, Cifuentes. I'm going to go Sima, Roof, and Matondo up front, and I'll go Lammers as a replacement for Tom Lawrence. I will go 2-0 Rangers, and I'll go Sam Lammers first goal. I'm sticking with my man. I know not a lot of people are seeing anything with him, but we stick with him. His first goal, and I'll say 2-0 Rangers as well. And I'm going to say caveat on you go, sorry.
What I was going to say, Chris made the point there about put Rice into his team. Interesting comments. We didn't mention that about what Beale said about him.
I was literally just going to say that. That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, were you? Yeah, so yeah, sorry mate for stealing your thunder there, but yeah, no, that's right. It's a very interesting one. I'd expect to see him starting the bench anyway on Sunday. It'd be good to see him. Really be good to see him. Every time that I've seen him, I've thought there's definitely a player in there. So no, that's a shout. Don't think he'll start him, but it will be good to see him, and it's a bit of praise to get from the first team coach that he's saying that he's ready, so it'll be interesting to see. And Jim, thank you very much, mate, as always. Absolutely fantastic, mate. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jim. Yeah, great point on Billy Rice. I was going to make that there that Bill had mentioned him, so I'm expecting to see an appearance from him, but interesting to hear Bill saying that there are a few young players who are not just ready, that they should be playing, and that's where they're at with Rangers at the moment. So interesting times, and we all have seen a young player coming through. If that's the next Nathan Patterson or whatever you want to call it, or Barry Feggs and whatever you want to call it, but we all got a buzz out, a youth player coming through. So yes, very much looking forward to seeing him on Sunday. Gentlemen, that will do. I can see we're over there, Mark. So appreciate everybody for tuning in this evening. Hope everyone enjoys their weekend. I will say goodbye to my guests. Firstly, Alistair Pearson. Hope you've got some sober plans tomorrow.
No, I don't. And I need my light put on, Ryan. The longer this podcast was going on, because the dark nights are coming and I'm getting darker and darker.
Will I send Toby up to put your light on for you?
Send him across, put my light on. But no, I have a wedding tomorrow, Ryan. So... Yes, you know what happens at weddings. So, yes, I may be slightly tender for the Motherwell game. So, it's up to Rangers to perk me up when I get there on Sunday.
Excellent, mate. You enjoy that. And I will have my WhatsApp to hand, and I'll be waiting for some voice notes.
Some content.
Excellent. Yes. Content is always welcome, mate. And last but not least, Carney, thanks for letting me host, mate, and hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thanks very much, mate. Chris, yes, thank you very much, mate. That's very much appreciated. Paracetamol indeed. I think it'll be 2 paracetamol in my bed tonight, I'm not going to lie. But no, I always enjoy doing a podcast, mate. It's always good when it's positive. It really is. It's always good. It's a relief to have a wee bit of positivity around it, and I look forward to seeing going to Ibrox on Sunday and seeing the State of Ali on Sunday as well when I meet him. So yeah, cheers everybody, cheers chat, cheers all the donations, superb as always, thank you.
Yeah, echo that. Donations are unbelievable. Support is unreal for you guys in the comments, whether you're subscribed or you're buying coffees or donating. It's fantastic. Please get us to this 5,000. We will be so happy as a podcast and so proud of it. So everyone enjoy your weekend. Keep playing like this, Rangers, because this is a lovely feeling. 3 points for Rangers would be magic, and a performance on Sunday. Thanks for listening. We are Club at 22. Boys, we're back on Sunday. Cheers.